Good morning, everyone. This is Gail Dudley with your News in Motion. Today is Thursday, July the 30th. We are almost through the month of July. Can you believe it? Well, let's start off with the occupant of the Oval. He said on yesterday, and I'll quote, "Americans living their suburban lifestyle dream will no longer be bothered by low-income housing in their communities." And yes, he did send a tweet sharing this as well. He goes on to say, as he traveled to Texas yesterday, he continued his tweet by saying, "I am happy to inform all the people living in their suburban lifestyle dream that you will no longer be bothered or financially hurt by having low-income housing built in your neighborhood. Your housing prices will go up based on the market and crime will go down." And then he goes on to say how he has rescinded a bill from Obama and Biden. And then he says, enjoy. That's a whole lot right there, everyone. And let me just say good morning to everyone who may have jumped on here as I was reading this quote, because it was a direct quote. So we have that, and we're talking about the election, and we're talking about America, and we're talking about the divide. We really have to consider what's being said. You know, here's another way to look at voting. Do not necessarily look at the names on the ballot per se, but look at what's on the ballot. For example, housing, healthcare, economics, foreign policy, and start looking at those individual items and ask how they line up with your beliefs and what you see. So that's how yesterday started out, everyone. And again, good morning to everyone who's coming in. Here's some good news. There's a bipartisan bill aimed to give Americans more opportunity to fight COVID-19. Congress, there's 16 U.S. senators who are considering the Corps Act as part of the next stimulus package. So these are volunteers around the world are filling the gaps in essential services to help fight the COVID-19 pandemic. So that's some good news. So if we can get this out there, more funding for volunteer programs could mean vulnerable communities and high poverty areas will receive the support they need. So that's some good news. That's a bipartisan bill that they are looking at. Hey, Brenda Troy. And yes, I'm calling her out because I haven't seen her on here. So I want to just say good morning to her. All right, y'all. Joe Biden promises his economic plan will combat racial inequity. And I shared with you yesterday how the Prime Minister in New Zealand, she's the bomb.com, Jacinda Ardern, had passed that bill on yesterday in New Zealand. So here comes Joe Biden giving that promise. All right, Governor Kate Brown, Portland, Oregon. She's the governor of Oregon, but we're talking about Portland. She's like, I'm going to need y'all to pack up and get up out of here. That's basically what she said in her tweet yesterday. Y'all, Twitter is on and popping. Her tweet yesterday said, after my discussion with VP Pence and others, the federal government has agreed to withdraw federal officers from Portland. Y'all, that's a win. They have acted as an occupying force and brought violence. Starting tomorrow, meaning today, all Customs and Border Protection and ICE officers will leave downtown Portland. But now remember, they are now sending federal agents to Cleveland, to Kansas City, to Albuquerque, New Mexico, to Chicago. So even there. And yesterday, I don't know if y'all saw that horrific video in New York City where an unmarked car, officers came out, grabbed a woman, put her in the car, and they were saying that they caught her on camera doing some things during a protest. I don't know what's happening, but let me tell you, with people being snatched today, that's kidnapping. We have to really raise our voices. That's why we vote. That should not be okay to come grab somebody in an unmarked car. All right. United States Postal Services, you heard it here first last week, and we're still going. Another tweet. Brooklyn Dad Defiant, he's a great person to follow on Twitter. He says, my mailman just confirmed they have all officially been told to slow the mail down per the occupant of the office, Postmaster General. So he's saying he wants this out there. He says, so for mail-in ballots, send them 21 days early. Mail on October the 13th. Don't wait. Y'all don't wait to mail your mail-in ballot. Don't wait, because they are purposely slowing the mail down so that your ballot won't get there in time. So we have to be 2, 3, 4 steps ahead of people, y'all. We have to register to vote, y'all. October the 5th. October the 5th is the last day to register to vote, to be able to vote in the November 3rd election. October the 5th. I know you were watching this in all 50 states, so check with your Secretary of State's office to see what dates they have on their website, because dates are changing due to the pandemic and due to the tricks that are already in play. So please don't wait till tomorrow to register. If you are not a registered voter, register today. You can go to iwillvote.com, vote.gov, rockthevote.org, whenweallvote.org, vote.gov. You can even go to readypublication.com and hit the Ready to Vote campaign icon. Get registered. Also, check your registration. Make sure your address is correct, your name is correct, your party is correct, your nationality is correct. Check all of that. Coronavirus numbers, I get mine from the World Health Organization. 4,568,037 cases, people. All right, I'm going to give you that number. Florida has a record in COVID deaths in 24-hour period, 216. Yeah. For the win, all moms and students for the win. Working remotely, balancing life. That's what's happening. Deaths, I do want to give you that. That's 153,840 deaths. And then recovered 2,245,044. That's what's happening. Southwest Airlines will begin testing terminal cameras to check passengers for a fever in the airport. They're starting in Dallas. I don't know how that's going to work, but okay. And y'all, did y'all know that more than 59,000 nursing home residents and staff have died of COVID? Yeah, that happened. So what's my inspirational message today? Well, I want to say, may God establish the work of our hands. That's my message today. And when I'm saying that, I'm saying, God, establish the work of our hands, that we align with God's purposes. When God established the work of our hands, it helps us connect our everyday tasks with God, to see our work, to trust in God, to help us find balance, to have right motives, to not be lazy, to keep us dependent upon God, and to awaken us. So this news that I gave y'all, that's a lot. So all we can do is ask for God to establish the work of our hands. To establish the work of our hands. Y'all, we have work to do. Again, this week, find someone who has not registered to vote and get them registered. Get them registered. Get them registered. Give them your story as to why it's important. Remove the two faces from the platform and give them the reason, the cause why we must vote. All right, y'all, I'm Gail Dudley. If you have questions for tomorrow, tomorrow I will answer questions. Put them in the comment section today, and I'll compile all the questions so I can answer them on tomorrow. So if you have any questions, please do that. I am happy to report I'm going to also start a podcast next week. So not only will I have Facebook Live and IGTV and YouTube, I'm going to start a podcast where I will dig deep on one particular subject when it comes to voting. Several homeschool moms has asked, what can I do to help them with homeschooling when it comes to the election and the voting process and what that looks like? So I'm putting all of this together. And if you can, join me tonight. I'll put the icon, the image in the thread today as well. But join me tonight at 7 p.m. I'm joining Pastor Timothy Carpenter and Pastor Denise Carpenter with God's Way Ministry International. We're going to talk about voting. We're doing a Zoom call. Please join us. We're going to have a great time this evening. I believe that will last about an hour. But please join us. But listen, hear my plea. Let's register to vote. All of us who are registered, check your voting information. Check your name, your address. Check your nationality. Check your gender. Check everything so that there's no reason why they tell you that you cannot vote or they give you a provisional ballot. No. And then remember what I just shared about the United States Postal Service people. They're already slowing the mail, which means when we're mailing in our absentee ballot, it could take a long time. They're intentionally slowing the mail. So we have to stay in front of people. So not only are we now trying to register people to vote, we're now trying to also deal with this whole issue with the mail being slowed on purpose. On purpose, people. So we have to balance this as we're pulling this together. Also, I put the icon yesterday in the thread. I'll put it in there again today. You can begin, again, I'm a resident of Ohio. In Ohio, you can begin requesting your absentee ballot right now. You can begin requesting that. Remember, they're slowing the mail. So as soon as you request it, the faster you will receive it. And then by October the 13th, I know I'm giving y'all dates now, October the 13th, so we can count 21 days to get that ballot in there. Yeah, we have to give it time. They're intentionally slowing the mail. So now we got to register people to vote. We got to communicate. So we have a lot on our plate, but y'all, we can do it. Establish the work of our hands, Lord. Establish the work of our hands. We can do it. We can do it together. Until tomorrow, let me know your questions. Tomorrow, I will answer all of your questions. Put your questions in the comment box, or you can DM me. That's fine as well. But until tomorrow, I am Gail Dudley. You have a great day and peace out.